All right, let's dive into a thought experiment that is just completely mind-bending. It's one of those questions that really helps you wrap your head around just how fragile our little spot in the universe is. So let's get right into it. I mean, really think about it. What if 1 second the sun is there, and the next it isn't? Not a supernova, not a slow fade to black, but just poof, gone. An empty hole where the heart of our solar system used to be. What would actually happen to us here on Earth? Okay, so let's get this out of the way first. This can't actually happen. Stars don't just disappear. But by imagining this completely impossible scenario, we get a real gut check on how deeply we depend on that big, fiery ball for every single second of our lives. So the sun vanishes. You'd think, boom, instant darkness, right? Well, here's the first and maybe the weirdest part of this whole thing. Absolutely nothing would happen. At least not at first. For a few minutes, we'd be completely blissfully unaware, just living on borrowed time. For exactly 8 minutes and 20 seconds, everything would seem totally normal. The sun would be shining, you'd feel its warmth, and Earth would keep on orbiting a star that, well, isn't even there anymore. It's a pretty spooky thought. So why the delay? It all comes down to a fundamental rule of the universe, the cosmic speed limit. You see, both light and gravity travel at the same incredible speed. Einstein figured this out. Nothing can move faster. So the news that the sun is gone, both the last photons of light and the final pull of its gravity, has to travel all 150 million kilometers to get to us. And then the countdown is over. After those 8 minutes and 20 seconds are up, two things happen at the exact same instant. The sky snaps to pitch black, and the gravitational leash holding Earth in its orbit breaks. This quote really paints the picture perfectly. Think about it like swinging a ball on a string. The sun's gravity is that string, and Earth is the ball. The moment the sun disappears, that string is cut. And what happens? The ball doesn't spiral out, it flies off in a perfectly straight line, and so would we. And we'd be moving, fast. We would just keep going in a straight line, hurtling through the cosmos at our current orbital speed, a staggering 108,000 kilometers per hour. We are now officially a rogue planet. Our familiar cosmic neighborhood would just fade away, piece by piece. The moon, since it only shines with reflected sunlight, would go dark just 1.3 seconds after we do. The other planets, one by one, would wink out of existence as the last of the sun's light sweeps past them. The only things left in our sky would be the distant stars, burning on their own countless light years away. Okay, so our connection to the solar system is gone. Now the focus shifts back to Earth, where a truly unimaginable ecological catastrophe would start to unfold in this new permanent night. Without the sun's warmth, Earth would basically become a giant radiator, just bleeding its heat out into empty space. And this timeline shows you just how fast things would get bad. Within a week, the global average temperature hits freezing. After just 1 year, it's a bone-chilling -73°C. And in the long run, it would get so cold that the very air we breathe would turn to liquid and just rain out of the sky. But it's not just the cold. The entire engine of life on our planet would grind to a dead stop. It's a terrifying domino effect. The moment the light goes out, photosynthesis stops. That means plants start to die within days or weeks. Then the herbivores that eat them starve. And then, of course, the carnivores and scavengers that ate them, well, you get the picture. But, believe it or not, some life wouldn't even notice the sun was gone. Deep in the oceans, around these volcanic hydrothermal vents, entire ecosystems thrive on chemical energy from the Earth's core. It's a process called chemosynthesis. For them, it's just another Tuesday. They would just keep on going, totally oblivious to the apocalypse happening on the surface. So, what about humanity? Could we make it? Well, our only hope would be to find a new source of energy fast and retreat into the last possible strongholds on our now dying world. And really, it boils down to two options, two last-ditch arenas for survival. Here on Earth, we'd have to burrow deep underground, maybe near geothermal hotspots like in Iceland, to tap into the planet's own heat. The other option? Well, any lucky few who were already living in self-sufficient colonies off-world might just stand a chance. Life underground would be a monumental challenge. We'd be using geothermal and nuclear power not just to stay warm, but to run massive hydroponic farms under artificial lights. But think about the psychological toll. Generations born and raised without ever seeing a sky, living in cramped quarters, knowing that one system failure could doom everyone. It wouldn't be living so much as surviving. So what about the people already out in space? At first glance, you might think they're the lucky ones, but their survival hangs on one absolutely critical question. How are their habitats powered? And this is where a really interesting debate pops up. Solar power, it's super cheap and easy to set up in space. But with no sun, those giant solar arrays become pretty useless pretty fast. On the other hand, you have nuclear power. It's incredibly dense and reliable, but the fuel isn't exactly easy to find when you're not on Earth. And the tech is way more complicated. The survival of an entire space colony could literally come down to a choice someone made years before the lights went out. So whether deep underground or in a fragile habitat floating in the void, any survivors would be facing the same profound new reality. Our home is now adrift. We are the wandering Earth. This quote from one of our sources it hits you right in the gut. It perfectly captures that grim new existence. Survival is no longer about building a future. It's just about enduring this profound, permanent isolation. No one is coming to save you. And so, that's what Earth becomes, a ghost ship, a silent, frozen world, perfectly preserving the ruins of our civilization under miles of ice as it journeys through the vast, empty darkness between the stars for millions, maybe even billions of years. But you have to wonder, right? It's this tiny, tantalizing glimmer of hope. After eons adrift in the dark, could our little rogue planet ever get caught in the gravitational pull of a brand new star, giving it a chance for a second spring? Let's be real, though. The distances between stars are just so mind-bogglingly vast. The chance of that happening is practically zero. It's a hope measured on a timescale so long, it makes all of human history look like less than a blink of an eye. And that leaves us with one last chilling question. If, against all odds, our world was somehow reborn under a new sun and life clawed its way back into existence, would they find us? Would they find our frozen cities deep beneath the ice and ever know that another intelligence once called this wandering planet home?